All right, come on, guys, let's quiet down. You at the back, pay attention. This is serious. What exactly does it mean to be a serious writer? I don't think it has anything to do with being professional or published, and I don't even think it has anything to do with being a good writer. Being a serious writer means that you're devoted to the craft, you're serious about your practice, and you have some rigor to your processes and your ongoing improvement. Becoming a serious writer often precedes becoming a good or great writer. It's the thing that leads to becoming good or great. Today, I'm going to talk about 5 signs that show that you've become a serious writer. You know what else you should seriously consider? Subscribing to my channel, because you'll get to see more videos like this. And it's something a serious writer might do. All right, sign number 1 that you're a serious writer: you produce a lot of low quality writing, or writing that doesn't live up to your expectations. Producing a lot of low quality or a lot of writing that fails to live up to expectations is actually a sign of a few different things. First off, it just means that you're producing a lot of writing in general, because your writing is always going to fall on a spectrum, with some of it being really, really good, most of it probably being mediocre, and some of it being bad. The distribution between those 3 categories varies from writer to writer, but if you're producing a lot of writing, you're bound to produce a lot of it which doesn't live up to your expectations. Producing writing that doesn't turn out well is also a sign that you're experimenting and trying new things and pushing the boundaries of your skills, that you're sort of taking on harder and harder pieces of writing, and a lot of those are not going to turn out well. This can also be a signal that you aren't afraid to actually get writing done. Non-serious dilettante writers will often shy away from producing writing if they're worried that the outcome is going to be poor. Serious writers get the writing done even if they don't have a ton of confidence that the outcome is going to be something they like. Next up, sign number 2 that you're a serious writer: you don't do a lot of criticizing. The skill required to criticize something is way lower than the skill required to actually do that thing. This is especially true for low quality criticism that's just meant to upset the person you're criticizing, but I would say it's also true to an extent for good quality criticism. It takes less skill to provide a good critique of a novel than it does to write a really good novel. People who aren't serious, or people who don't have a lot of confidence in their skills in an area, tend to be highly critical of others as a way of masking their own insecurities. It's much easier to project the negative feelings you have about your own skills onto someone else's skills than it is to actually confront those things and admit to yourself that your skills don't live up to the standards you've created for yourself. Serious writers are less insecure about their skills. They might not be entirely confident, but they know how good they are. They don't need to justify their skills by bringing down other people. Also, serious writers recognize the challenge of the craft and understand how hard it is to produce a good piece of writing, so they are much more reluctant to be outwardly critical of other writers. Now, this does not mean that you shouldn't work on your critiquing skills. Building up your criticism muscle is an important part of becoming a better writer. You should be thinking critically about the novels that you're reading, trying to understand what works and what doesn't work. Over time, you'll build up this skill to really assess a piece of writing. And of course, if you're participating in a critique group, or if you do some editing work or something like that, that's an opportunity to build up this critiquing skill as well. Being able to give and take critiques is an important skill for any writer. Serious writers do that in a way that is meant to help the other writer, not just compensate for their own personal shortcomings. Next up, sign number 3 that you're a serious writer: you don't know a lot about writing. Or at least you feel that there's a lot you still have to learn. There's this concept called the circle of ignorance that basically represents the skill or the knowledge you have about a subject as a series of circles. The innermost circle is what you know or the skills that you have on the subject. And then outside of that, there's a bigger circle, which is all of the things that you know that you don't know, or the skills that you know you need to acquire, but you haven't acquired yet. And then beyond that, the outermost circle is all the stuff you have no idea about, the knowledge you don't even know you need to know. What tends to happen when people start out is they have a very small inner circle of knowledge/skills. And a side effect of that is that the next circle out, the stuff you know you don't know, is also quite small. What this causes is people who are beginners or with lower levels of skill think they know a lot more than people who are more advanced. If you've progressed to the point of being a serious writer, if you've done some serious study of the craft, you will probably be, to a certain extent, kind of overwhelmed by the amount there is to know, and you will have a much clearer view into your own gaps and where you can improve. You will legitimately have more skill and more knowledge than somebody who's just a beginner, but that will sort of be compensated by the fact that you know that there's so much more out there still to learn. Next up, sign number 4 that you're a serious writer. You write consistently. Or said another way, you write whether you feel like it or not. One of the big things that separates someone who's serious about a craft from somebody who isn't serious about it is whether they're relying on emotion to get work done or whether they're relying on commitment. Commitment means that you do something regardless of how you feel about it. If you're sick or tired or worn out or just feeling lazy, you still get the writing done. You commit to your practice and getting writing done. Writing, even when you don't feel like it, is a sign that you're someone who takes their writing seriously. Obviously, this shouldn't be done at the expense of your emotional and physical health. If you're sick or need rest or just need sleep, then yeah, you probably shouldn't write. You shouldn't write to the point where it causes a deterioration of your health, but you should still write even if you don't necessarily feel like doing it. That's a sign that you're a serious writer. And lastly, sign number 5 that you're a serious writer, you don't know why you write. Or said perhaps a little bit more eloquently, it would feel weird to stop writing. There's a certain point where the motivation to write stops being kind of external and starts to become more internal. I think this is an idea that James Clear came up with. I don't know if he was the originator of it, but he does mention it. There's kind of 3 layers of behavioral change that exist. This video has a lot of interconnected circles in it. It's kind of weird. On the outside, you have outcome-based changes. That's when you are pursuing a specific goal. So if you're sitting down to write an 80,000 word novel, that's kind of an outcome-focused behavior change. Same thing with running a 5K or losing 10 pounds. It's an outcome-focused, you're sort of accomplishing a goal. That's the outer circle. The next circle in from that is the habit behavior circle. That's when you have something you do as a habit, either every day or regularly. So that could be having a habit of writing 500 to 1,000 words a day or doing a couple hours of writing on the weekend. It's a habit that you sort of do consistently. The third and the circle that this point is about is identity, and that's where doing the thing has become part of your identity. That's where you would say, I'm a writer. It's something that I do. What happens when something becomes part of your identity is your mind will start to defend that thing and it will start to make sure that you do it. This is when it will start to feel weird not to get writing done. It'll kind of make you feel a little bit upset if you can't get your writing done. You will start just sort of unconsciously, naturally defending your writing time and making sure you can get it done. The same kind of feelings and emotions that drive non-serious writers towards Netflix or scrolling endlessly will drive you towards your writing practice. When you get to the point where not writing feels kind of weird and sort of upsets you on a level, that's a sign that you're a serious writer. And the fact that my camera is almost out of batteries is a sign that this video is about to end. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found the advice in it useful. If you want to see more stuff like this, you can check out all my other writing advice related videos and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.